Bears. One cave.
One of the craziest little things. I don't know if you knew this about Norm, but I learned. I mean, when he was alive, and I was like, "What?" Is he didn't drive. He lived in Los Angeles, and like having a car in Los Angeles is like just a staple of and so one time I was doing Irvine, and Frank was like, "Oh yeah, we got to send the car to get Norm." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like he gets car?" Like I was like, "Oh, celebrity car service." He's like, "Oh no, he doesn't have a car." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "He doesn't drive." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "What about in LA?" He goes, and this is like before Uber. This is like more than 10 years ago. I'm like, what if he needs to get, I just couldn't, I'm like, but it's LA.
Yeah.
Like we all have cars. And he's like, not Norm. His life was kind of contained in the blocks that he lived in. And then if he had to do something, he had to call someone or somebody had to pick him up. He just was like, nah, I don't drive.
So did you open for him?
No, well, I'm trying to think. I hung out with him a couple times. The Irvine one was the time I got really high with him. Ryan Sickler and I were in the parking lot before.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, and Ryan's always got good weed.
Yeah.
And he had some crazy sticky shit, and he was like, he's like, "You want to smoke?" I thought Norm was going to be like, "I'm about to go on stage," which he was. And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You're going to smoke right?" I was like, "You're going to smoke right now?" Because that was like so scary to me to get that high right before. He packed this bowl. Norm hit it, took a monster hit.
I watched him take a monster hit off of
coughed
Rogan one time.
So hard, tear came down his face. You know, like when you're coughing that hard. And I was like, this is going to be bad. You know? I took a hit because I was watching him. We weren't performing that night. And the show's already started. And I had that, like, you know, that anxiety.
Yeah.
Like of like a 5-year comic, and he's a 30-year guy at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you got to get in there? He's like, huh. You know. I'm like,
how you gotta get in there?
Like, yeah, it's all I could think about. I was like, you got to get in there, man.
Yeah.
And he smoking, talking, told me. I asked questions. I asked about dirty work, you know, and working. I go that scene with Rickles and Artie, you know, and he told me the whole story, which is like a great story. Great story. How they couldn't fucking get the take because they all kept breaking and laughing, and they only had Rickles for a few hours.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, that's just how it is in movies sometimes. Like, you got this guy for like 8 hours today. They got the usable shot that they use in the movie at like the 7th hour. Because he kept roasting them and they were just falling apart, you know? Yeah. And then they had him again like a week later for another scene. And that's the time that Frank Sinatra was dying in the hospital. And Norm had said he goes, so he comes for that second time when we're shooting with him. I knew that Frank was dying in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I just went up to Rickles and I go, "Hey, I am really sorry about Frank. I know he's a good friend of yours." And he said, Rickles, like, yeah, I was with him in the hospital yesterday, you know, and I telling him that I loved him, and he was all like that. And I was like, and then Norm was like, "Oh my God." But that's Rickles, you know, like Rickles mocking his dying friend. And then I thought I'd tell you this. We walk from the parking lot this is the old Irvine Improv.
Yeah.
We walk in the front, and then there's the showroom doors, and then there's the pathway down. Dude, it's like a movie. We walk in the front doors, and then those showroom doors open. And as the showroom doors open, they're like, Norm MacDonald. He's got on this leather blazer on, and he's holding a Coke, twist-off Coke.
Yeah.
And he just walks up there, and you know, place goes, it was packed. And he's like, yeah, you know, some people drink Sprite. It's fucking gross. And he just fucking, like talking like that, like just off the top of his head about how gross Sprite is.
God.
And murdering. And then Ryan and I are in the back. We're like, holy shit. And we're like, we're so high. He's got to be so high right now. So high. And he's up there just killing, man.
He was the best. I mean, it's hard. It stinks when you lose all three of them at the same time.
Oh man!
Because
do you know what? I got to tell you this. What this Canadian promoter told me. They go, I forget who it was, but somebody who you probably know too, that has worked in comedy all these years, and they go, coming up when because Norm started in Canada, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
They go, whenever he killed in these early years, working a weekend at Yuck Yucks or something.
Yeah.
When the show was over, he'd just hide, or he'd just go in the green room and sit there. But if he bombed, which Norm is the kind of comic who, like, every other show.
Yeah.
Because he literally, he just didn't care.
He really
didn't care.
He really didn't care.
People say that, and they're lying.
No, he really genuinely
didn't care. I mean, watch his roast, watch his talk show appearances. He doesn't give a fuck. When he bombed, which was like semi-regularly, he would wait in the hallway to shake audience members' hands so that they had to see him again. So they're leaving. He's like, "How you doing? Hi."
That is the most gangster move.
Yeah, it totally is. But if he's like, "If I kill, I don't want to do that."
Dude, you couldn't. The thing I loved with Norm, you couldn't tell if he was joking with you or he was being serious.
Yeah.
Like,
and I just was laughing with Spade about how, remember when Spade did Norm's Netflix show?
Yeah.
And Norm's it's like just like this, and he goes, "And we'll be right back," and the cameras are rolling, and Spade's like, "Just like you cut to commercial." He's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna do a commercial real quick," and then he just waited. He's like, "And we're back," and Spade's like, "Was that real?" And he's fucking with him.
That was by the way,
so funny, dude.
Yeah,
it's so funny,
dude. What is it about? Like, do we have that now?
Someone like that?
No, because the thing about Norm. And the thing about Spade, I'll say it about Spade. I'll say it about Sandler, Farley, Bill Murray. You'll never get that again. You'll never get that mystery of who are they.
Oh.
Like, because I mean, we both know Spade, but like, I don't know David Spade at all. Like,
no, I don't know him well.
I don't know him. No, but we don't know anything about him.
Oh, I got
even
you.
like, you hang out with him, it's all exterior, and then he disappears, right?
Yeah.
Norm MacDonald, you'd hang out with him, and you'd get whatever he said to you, but then he'd disappear.
Right.
And he wasn't on podcasts. He wasn't on fucking Instagram.
I know, and I had a couple ins to try to have him on a few times.
On the podcast?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like progressing, but I remember going like, I should ask this guy.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff.
I had an opportunity to have him on.
Did you just fart?
Yeah, I did, and I couldn't. By the way, probably my biggest regret is that I didn't spend more time like chasing my heroes, meaning like hanging out with the people or like going like, "Hey, I'd love to open for you" or something.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have had more interactions with Norm, and the ones I had, I think, are great. Same with Bob Saget. Like he offered me. He's like, we have scars, and whatever. Like I don't know. It's on a podcast. You can just see it. It's like I'm always gonna remember things wrong. But he had a box, a joint box that Rodney Dangerfield gave him.
Yeah,
where he kept his joints or his coke.
Who's this? Who?
Saget.
Oh,
and I regret. Not reaching out to him more. To go like, hey man, I'd like to take you up on hanging out. I'm just not that guy. And then, like, even with Louis, who is the sweetest guy in the world, and would reach out to you and say, "Come and hang out." I wouldn't do that, and I don't do it. Like
I read that thing. I just saw the blurb where, right when Bob Saget died, I don't mean to say this because of who he is. I'm just saying this sentiment, resonates. Which is, there was a blurb that said like, Chappelle regrets not texting Saget back, and I was like, oh, how many times were you like, I do that thing where I read a text, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and I'll think I've texted back. I'll be like, it's good to hear from him, and I put my phone down. Yeah, and then the next day I'm like, that was good. Then I'm like, oh, I didn't write anything back.
Oh yeah, that's a million. I mean, I think I have a good one. The last text from Ralphie.
Really?
I think the last text from Ralphie is like.
Do you have text from like years and years ago?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I'll tell you, Ralphie. Yeah, I got Ralphie.
That's wild.
What day did Ralphie die? 2018?
I don't know. We'll find out here in a second. 2017. October 6th. That might be a different Ralphie.
No.
October 6th, 2017. Is that Ralph Mayo?
I have a text from Ralphie.
Let's see.
What's up, playa? That's Ralphie.
That's weird.
Someone got his phone, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I guess you could probably write back to this one.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.